I decided to study abroad to fulfill my foreign language requirement, which was what led me to the Granada program in Spain over the summer. And the next program that I participated on was in Korea, and I did that program in order to fill upper division requirements for my major. My biggest concerns for studying abroad revolved around finances because I am a first-generation college student and a low-income student, so I didn't know how I could fund my experiences abroad. So when I looked into studying abroad, I also did my research on how to fund my study abroad programs, and that led me to different resources like financial aid, scholarships, and other grants that were available to students specifically like me. Studying abroad has impacted me personally and academically because when I studied abroad, I was immersed into culture and history that I had never experienced before. And I originally was a pre-med student prior to going abroad, and after studying abroad, I realized how much I loved history and culture and learning about the places that I visited. So I ultimately came back to UCLA and changed my major to history, and simultaneously I began working in the International Education Office, where I learned about my passions for higher education and counseling. My identity as a former foster youth influenced my experiences abroad because I already was a lot more independent than some of my peers may have been, so figuring out the logistics of the program came a lot easier to me than other people. But I also went abroad without a big support system like some of my other peers may have had. The most memorable thing about studying abroad was being immersed in a culture and history that I've never experienced before. And so just being able to do things that I wouldn't normally do on my own. One of those things specifically was when I was in Korea, we got to visit the border of North and South Korea, and we got to go down an infiltration tunnel about 25 stories deep, and it was really interesting to kind of see the culture and history of how the countries were separated. The one piece of advice I would give students who identify as a former foster youth would be to embrace the unknown and find joy in figuring out the mess of things, because studying abroad on your own can be very overwhelming, especially when you may not have the same support system as your peers. And so I would just encourage you to be open to new experiences and enjoy the time while you're abroad, and don't let fear deter you from doing something that could ultimately change your life.